Biafra,
our home,
our country,
our future,
our future. Biafra now our only hope. From every village, every city, from homeland to diaspora, hope is rising again. Biafra now our only hope.
Biafra now our only hope.
Hope for today, hope for tomorrow. No more pain, no more sorrow. Ha! We bring better. Make you happy too. Beautiful name, shining bright, justice and fairness. Now the light.
Biafra go be one beautiful nation.
Every Biafran go enjoy true free, fine country, shining nation. Justice and fairness. Justice and fairness. Everybody, one love for rich and poor. Leader or citizen, no different, justice go speak with confidence.
No oppression,
no discrimination, rule of law for the nation. Truth and justice go reign forever.
Biafra go get strong and better.
Where your hope?
Biafra.
Who be your hope?
Biafra.
Waiting be your country.
Biafra.
No more suffering and smiling, no more fear, no more hiding. Respect and dignity for all. Every citizen standing tall. Free education, rich university, healthcare for every community.
No more dying,
because no money.
Life go better for everybody.
Biafra now our only hope.
Biafra now our only hope.
Stand up now, make we claim our
Biafra now our destination.
Women go deliver safe for hospital. Citizens go get support every month. Better roads go connect every city. Modern railways and airport.
Clean water go flow for
electric light go shine every night. Security go protect every family.
Day and night.
Everything go right. Fit Africa, your road without fear. Kidnapping and violence disappear. Some progress everywhere go higher and benefits. Nobody go kill you for Biafra and go free. Now wahala, the person don't buy for him head. All and gas beneath the ground, and the people will get the land control. Resources go serve the people, prosperity go spread. Anything we did for our land, citizens go mad. Development go reach every corner. Nobody go suffer again.
No vote buying,
no rigging game. Fair and play. One woman, one voice. Your voice will matter every day. Biafra. Our country, our future. Biafra now our only hope. No. Leo. From every village, every city, from homeland to diaspora, hope is rising again. Biafra now our only hope. Hope for today, hope for tomorrow. No more pain, no more sorrow. We bring, make up. We get hope, now be a fire. Nation, shining with justice and fairness, now the light.
Biafra go be one nation.
Every Biafran go enjoy true freedom. Fine, fine country, shining nation. Justice and fairness, justice and fairness. Everybody equal, one poor. Leaders no different, justice go speak with confidence.
No oppression,
no discrimination, rule of law in nation. Truth and just go reign forever.
Biafra go get strong and better.
Where your home? Who be your home? Waiting be your no more suffering and smiling. No more fear, no more hiding. Respect and dignity for all. Every citizen standing tall. Free education, rich university, healthcare for every community.
No more dying,
because no money.
life go better for everybody.
Biafra now our only hope.
Biafra now our only hope.
Stand up now, make we claim our
Biafra.
citizen. Now our cities go manage. One vote, one vote. Your voice go matter every day.
Biafra now our only hope. Biafra now our only hope.
Hope for today,
Hope for tomorrow.
no more pain, no more sorrow.
Biafra
more sorrow. Biafra,
our home,
our country,
our future,
our future. Biafra now our only hope. Oh, no. From every village, city, home, hope is rising again. Yeah, and our only hope.
yes,
Hope for today, hope for tomorrow. No more pain, no more sorrow. We bring better news, make you happy. We get hope, we see justice and fairness, not the lie.
Biafra will be one beautiful nation.
Every Biafran go enjoy true freedom. Fine, fine country, shining nation. Justice and justice. Every citizen's home, free education, rich university, healthcare for every community, because no money,
Life go better for everybody.
Biafra now,
Our only hope.
stand up now, make we claim our
Biafra now, destination.
women go to the hospital, citizens go get support every month, better roads go connect every city, modern railways and
Clean water go flow.
electric light go shine, security go protect every family, everything go right. You fit waka free for midnight, go your road without fear, kidnapping and violence disappear. Peace and progress everywhere, mama and papa go get retirement benefits. Nobody go kill for Biafra and go free. Now wahala, the person don't buy for him head. All and gas on ground and the people again go control. Justice go serve the people, prosperity go spread for all. Anything we did for our land, now our citizens go man. Development go reach every corner, nobody go suffer again.
No vote by
Play. One woman, one vote.
one man, one vote.
Your voice don't matter every day.
Biafra now our only hope. Biafra now our only hope.
Hope for today,
Hope for tomorrow.
no more pain, no more sorrow.
Biafra now our only hope. Biafra now our only hope.
Hope for today, hope for tomorrow. No more pain, no more sorrow. Biafra, our country, our future. Biafra only hope. No. Oh, no. From every village, city, from homeland to diaspora, hope is rising again. Biafra now our only hope. Yes, our only hope. Hope for today, hope for tomorrow. No more pain, no more sorrow.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. As you join us, please like, share, and comment. Share and comment so that can appreciate your presence. Your presence is very, very important. Your presence is very much important to us. So we like you to comment so that we appreciate you as well. Ụtụtụ ọma nụ ụmụ Chineke. Nnọọ nnọọ biko unu bata unu esoro anyị nabata ndị ọzọ ka anyị wee na-agakwa n'iru ịbata ide ihe edemede.
Evening, the whole world must listen. As long as we preach this very gospel, Chukwokika Abiyama must be with
ịbata ide ihe edemede ka anyị mara na ị nọ ebe a. Ịbata ide ihe edemede ka anyị mara na ị nọ ebe a. Ka anyị nwee ike nabata gị. Ka anyị nwee ike nabata gị na ọ dị onye oke mkpa. Ọ dị oke mkpa. Ịbata ide ihe edemede ka anyị mara na ị nọ ebe a. When you join us, just write, indicate your presence so that we can appreciate.
Therefore, without any further hesitation, we must proceed to offer prayer to Chukwu Okike Abiyama, who resided in heaven.
When you join us, just write presence so that we can appreciate.
Therefore, without any further hesitation, we must proceed.
We're having network issues, challenges to play this voice of our leader, the prayer of our leader. And if he did not permit us, we have to go straight. We have to go straight to our whatever morning for the Biafran people. So I want to appreciate every one of you. I want to appreciate you for joining us. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for your presence. We appreciate you so much. Let us see if the prayer can allow us to play it once again. Let us see if it can allow us to play it once again. But it's not allowing us, so we are going to proceed. So, ụtụtụ ọma nụ ụmụ Chineke. First of all, I want to use this opportunity to appreciate our eternal leaders, Odmeruko and Philip Effiong, and everyone, including Achusie, General Achusie, and all the rest of them that have died, that have answered the call of ancestors. We appreciate every one of them who fought for our freedom and gave us the opportunity to, to fight for today. They made it possible that we are not overrun, so we appreciate them. I also appreciate our leaders in detention, the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, and the former Prime Minister of Biafran Republic government in exile, Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku. We appreciate them so much for their sacrifices, for their commitment for our freedom, and standing very strong, irrespective of the challenges that they are facing today. We appreciate them so much. I also appreciate our Prime Minister, Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere. I appreciate my Information Minister, Mazi Soni Akbarawa. All Brigade Cabinet members, I say my greetings to all of them. I also appreciate the, the commitment and the doggedness, the perseverance of the Biafra media team. My comrades, I salute every one of you. You guys are wonderful. You guys are exceptional. It's as a result of what you and I is doing in the media that Biafra is now the talk of the world, using Christian genocide as a point of reference, because Biafrans are predominantly Christians. We appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. Biafran people appreciate every one of us. Appreciate our lobbyist, Mazi Eleya stories. Yes, today Mazi Elias will be having some media chat today, interview. And that interview, Mazi Elias is now hot cake. They are searching for him. They want to speak to him. They want to interview him. Some other countries, some other groups, and all the rest of them are looking for him. Mazen Elias is now sought for lobbying, to be lobbyist. Countries are looking for him. Companies are looking for him. Institutions are looking for him. Organizations are also looking for him, both for interview and all the rest of it, because VOB, Voice of Biafra, personalities, on the British Insight have let the world understand that Elias is the best man for jobs and political engagement in Washington, D.C. That if you want the world to listen to you, Mazi Elias, they are now looking for Mazi Elias for engagement here and there, because what Mazi Elias is doing with Biafran government in exile. They have seen what the political engagement, the meetings, and the result of the meetings that is coming out from Washington, D.C. And the gentlemen and political juggernauts that have graced the platform of Voice on Politics Insight have given a lot of expo on Mazi Elias. So they are looking for him for interview. They want to know what he's doing in Washington, D.C., how they can, be able to link up with him and all the rest of it. So Mazi Elias will be having an interview today, and I hope we are going to watch as well. All is for the benefit of Biafra. Very, very important. Welcome, welcome. So like I said earlier, if you join us, if you want me to appreciate your presence, just write on a comment section so that I know that you are here watching. This morning, my wonderful Biafran brothers and sisters, I am going to walk you through the diplomatic photo shots that our Prime Minister, His Excellency Honorable Ogechukwu Nkere, is taking, or has taken, Washington. The reason why I want to talk about is believed. A lot of forces have been out there for a long time. Accusations and counter accusations of and all the rest of them. I'm not going to play that video here. When Mark Arnold an interview, I don't know, I'll call that an interview, doesn't look like, and he was being pushed to say, oh, that what actually does he think that Biafran government in exile is doing in Washington, D.C.? Is it only Photoshop or photo shoots? Oh, McConnell was saying photo shoots. That it's not only photo shoot. Photo shoot cannot do anything. That it is all about meetings that, in other words, trying to make it look as if what our Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere is going to Washington, D.C. to do is only but photo shoots. And it's very, very sad, and it's very, very unfortunate that somebody in the caliber of Mike Arnold will allow himself to be used in that manner. And I'm here this morning to let Biafrans understand that, first of all, they should understand who Mike Arnold is. Mike Arnold, a politician in Washington, D.C. Mike Arnold's government, Arnold, representative, American government. Mike Arnold is not among the policymakers of the American government. Mike Arnold is not he doesn't have political view when it comes to Senate issues in American geopolitics. He doesn't have that. Whatever you see Mike Arnold say, he is saying is as an ordinary citizen of America and not a government representative. Okay? Mike Arnold is not speaking for American government. Neither is he speaking for the Congress or speaking for the Senate. So when he's being forced to try to diminish longer where we are working and we are looking. No, we are focusing our destination, are focusing on our mission, and we are not relenting in our effort to restore Biafra. We are not going to be distracted.
He is more, he's expressive.
Sorry about that. So, like I was saying, we are not going to be distracted by people who want to get noticed. We are not going to be distracted by people who want to, you know, try to use the Biafra issue to get. We are not going to be distracted by that. We very much focused on Biafran restoration project. and there is no amount of distraction, nothing is going to stop our march for freedom. At all is going to stop our freedom. And nothing that anybody does at this time that will be surprising to us. So, like I was saying, Mike Arnold is not speaking for the American Congress. Mike Arnold is not a politician in America. He was a former mayor, just like when you have a former Eze or former Igbe in Nigeria or former a monarch. Okay, so that is the position of Mike Arnold. So for a lot of people who thought, oh, they saw Mike Arnold in when he gave testimony, and they think that he is so strong or he has political influence. No, he doesn't have that political influence in Washington D.C. Okay, he's an American citizen. We understand that. Just like you are a Nigerian citizen or you are a Biafran citizen. You know, in America, things work. Even a child can decide to go and do testimony. And once you are invited to come, you can go there. There is no big deal. So for people who saw Mike Arnold on that congressional hearing, and he gave a very wonderful speech, indictment of Nigeria, and they think that, oh, Mike Arnold cannot speak for American government. No, that is basically false. So who is Mike Arnold? For your information, for people who think that he wears a big influence, that whatever he says is now policy and all the rest of it. No. Mike Arnold is just a prominent American former lawyer, an entrepreneur, missionary, an author, an advocate. He is just best known for his outspokenness. He is just best known for speaking out. It's not like in Nigeria where people are afraid to speak. And once you are eloquent, you speak out, you will be known. So for the fact that he was a former mayor and he also speaks out against injustices, basically in Nigeria, that is the reason why you saw him in that congressional testimony. He served as a mayor of Texas, where he implemented what was reported the state's first known AI deployment in local government. So, in other words, let me tell you that Mike Arnold, he he is he is actively involved in organizations that render a kind of assistance and human help, a non-profit organization or NGO which he runs in Nigeria. So in 2025, Mike Arnold gained significant attention for his advocacy regarding violence in Nigeria. He participated in a government-sponsored trip but used a press conference to publicly highlight what he described as genocide against Christians, involving jihadist groups, displacement, and related issues. This went viral, drawing international media coverage and mentions of influencing U.S. policy discussions. He has made multiple trips to Nigeria front lines, produced related media, including in the documentary Me and Mrs. Hannity, and authored books like Alignment Imperative, hashtag one Amazon bestseller in strategic management and uprising. He is active on social media X and you know him as hashtag MikeArnold.org for his writing, speaking, and initiative. So it's because of this is what his involvement on social media and as well as his activities in Nigeria. That is why he looks like a prominent figure. But when it comes to American politics, when it comes to the politicking in America, Mike Arnold is not well known. So I listened to that interview where telling his listeners that, oh, pictures don't matter. What matters is your engagement, your videos, and all the rest of them. And I'm here to totally disagree with what he was feeding the listeners. First of all, I want to let the listeners understand that Biafran Republic government in exile, under American government law, is a non-state actor when it comes to world politics. Biafran government has not been recognized in America as a government that is people that is representing the Biafran people. It has not been recognized. That is the truth. But the Biafran government in exile is fighting for that recognition from America. So every photo, every information that the Biafran government in exile prime minister is giving to the Biafran people in relation to his political engagement in Washington is something that has been declassified by the government of Biafra. What I'm trying to say is this. You see, when our prime minister goes and have meetings with Mr. A, for instance, okay, let me show some pictures. When our prime minister goes to Washington, D.C., and goes into an office of a sitting senator in America, okay, and have a meeting with that senator, there is a possibility of video recording from that meeting. There is a video recording from that meeting, taking notes of what was discussed, the issues raised, mutual interest and mutual understanding, and the reasons why the prime minister came to that office or came to that particular senator or congressman. There is a possibility there are video recordings of that meeting. But for the singular reason and purpose that Biafra is not a legitimate government on its own, Biafra has not been recognized all over the world as a free nation, those videos can never be made public. Those videos are not supposed to be in public domain. That is what we call classified information. Every information in that video is classified. You see that whenever our prime minister goes to Washington, D.C. and comes out, in order to prove to the Biafran people that he went for such meeting, he shows us photo. In some cases, every senator that he meets in Washington, D.C. may even like to have such photo. Okay? But majority of them would like to have that photo. That is for a proof to the Biafran that actually this man came to my office. Your minister came to my office. That is a proof of the engagement that he had with such senators. Just like what is happening in Iran and the United States of America. You see that in some cases, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, Jerry Kushner, the in-law to Trump, they are part of the negotiating team, negotiating with Iran. In some cases, you don't see the video while they are negotiating at that time. You don't see it. It is not possible. It is after the negotiations. Then the aspects, the information that is made for the public consumption will be made public. Then they can now publish the video. In some cases, you see that President Trump will just tell um, the news medias, the reporters, what is being discussed or the information he needs to go out to the media. That is the information that Donald Trump will relay to the media. The same thing applies to cabinet members who have issues of mutual interest that are intimate to the government of America and any other government of the world. Once that issues are being raised and discussed, it is not necessary, it is not mandatory that everything that was discussed in that meeting will be made public. So when you see our Prime Minister, Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere, for instance, coming and giving you photo or showing you photo that he took with Senator Ted Cruz, for instance, what it means is that he went to Senator Ted Cruz's office, he sat down, he discussed with him. That this is a proof to the Biafran people with Senator Ted Cruz, and he discussed with him. But he cannot release the video because that video is not yet declassified. The information in that video is very much vital and important to the American government as well as the Biafran people, and for the interest and for the security of the senator or congressman that had that meeting. The videos has to be withheld until a later time, a later period, where Biafra will now be a recognized government, a recognized people, and then the government of Biafra will now deem it necessary to declassify those information or those meetings that was held with the American government. Very important. Some time ago, the Prime Minister came out and told Biafrans that he has negotiated with the American government to, to offer them military bases in Biafran territory. We did not see that video, right? But this is a point of discussion with them and the people that he had the meeting with. So that is how government Arnold is trying to deceive the people who are listening and telling you that videos that are nothing, that you need to you need to bring out video. I want you to ignore him. You need to ignore most of the things that Mark Arnold said because he's not speaking for the American government, and you don't expect the Biafran government in exile to please Mike Arnold or to please you because of what Mike Arnold has to say. What he said is his own personal opinion. He is not speaking for the Biafran government. He is neither speaking for the American Congress. So that is the point of the matter. So I want to use this opportunity to let those inconsequential Biafrans, those who don't understand how politics is being played in Washington, D.C., that it is not every information that needs to be out in the social media. When you are dealing with policymakers that need to be out, there is a time for that. And that is why Our government cannot release any video in relation to any political engagement that is going on in Washington, D.C. Okay? So don't be deceived by what Mike Arnold said. Don't deceive media. Be deceived by that people who have fallen the story of Okike Abiama himself. Because Biafra is an ordained. You can't fight Biafra and win. You cannot stand on the way of the Biafran people. You cannot stand on the way of our freedom, and you succeed in your propaganda. It is not going to happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. So, Biafran people, we are with the acts and the political engagement that our Prime Minister is having in Washington, D.C. Very, very important. And at this critical time, we don't look at our side. We are very much focused. We are very much focused nation on Biafra. And that is why you cannot hear or see our Prime Minister respond to such issues. No, he's not going to respond to that. Our information minister may one or two times come out and talk about it, but he's not privy to that to respond to that, because those are very much unnecessary, because that is in this ban restoration knows what he is doing. You know what BRGIE is doing. As a matter of fact, in the last few days, we have had two distinguished gentlemen on Voice of Biafran platform. You saw Ambassador TB Nagy. He spoke on our platform. And what was their point of discussion? Biafra. Is it the first time he's been hearing about Biafra? He's not. Who made him? Who have educated him, even convinced him to come on the Voice of Biafra to speak? Biafran Republic government in Ezra Ogechukwu Gere. Recently, also came and spoke. It is as a result of the political engagement photos that you are social media that Ogechukwu, the Prime Minister, have posted. It is as a result of those photos that you see all these men coming out, because they understand what BRGIE is doing in Washington, not what Mike Arnold has to say. We are not working for Mike Arnold. We don't have any point to prove to Arnold. Okay? Our Prime Minister don't have anything to prove to Mike Arnold at all. We are consistently working on restoration. And so we are too busy to be distracted by side talks here and there. So for those of you who are trying to share, oh, Mike Arnold say this, Mike Arnold say that, it doesn't move Biafran government in exile, because we are focused. It doesn't move our Prime Minister, because our Prime Minister is a very busy man. Okay, Chukwunkere is a very, very busy man these days. You people don't know what is happening. And that is why you want to try to, continue with your propaganda. Well, go ahead with your propaganda, whatever you have to say against our government. One thing is certain, you can never beat the rich. You can never be how we are so proud of our government, because we understand what BRGI is doing in Washington, D.C. You understand that. So it is not something that somebody can start coming to tell us, oh, this is what we know government is doing in Washington, D.C. And it's for the betterment of Biafra, for Biafran recognition. Come to think of it, those of you who say that Ogechukwu Nkere is going to Washington, D.C. to take pictures, Okay, let's just assume we agree he's taking pictures. Can you please, you go to Washington, D.C., take your own pictures and post on social media? One thing I can guarantee you is that you cannot walk into an office of a sitting senator of America and say you want to take photo. And after taking that photo, you come and post it on social media and say you had a meeting with such person and that you and such person discuss mutual infra. You are going to jail. You will go in for it. I am telling you, you will go in for it. You cannot just go and take photo with somebody and you come and write something that never happened. So I want you to understand, whenever you see our Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere sending out photo, he knows the reason why he's sending it. And whatever he tells you about that photo, it is what it is. So if you feel and you are so convinced 100% that Ogechukwu Nkere is just taking photo, there is no follow-up meetings, or that the photos are Photoshop, go and Photoshop your own photo, bring it on social media, post it on your wall, and tell us about the photo. Then oh, the like I was saying before that disruption, it's network, please. So you can only tell fee. And once you take that selfie, you cannot say what that selfie is not about. So when our Prime Minister goes and put Biafran that he had a meeting with Ted Cruz, he had a meeting with, you should understand that yes, he James, and that political engagement is bringing all these distinguished men, American senators and congressmen, to Voice of Biafra to speak pertaining to the discussion that he has had with them about Biafra. Very, very important. So if you feel that it's very easy and it's just as easy as anything to go walk into any senator's office, take photo, then you come out and post that you had a meeting with that senator, you can as well try. Maybe you are going for 20 or 10 years. Yes, because you cannot state what did not happen. And for those of you who say Ogechukwu is this and that, if Ogechukwu Nkere have any questionable character, believe you me, American senators, American congressmen and women are respected all over the world. I know America. America is number one in investigation. Before you can deal with American government, senators, congressmen and women, politicians, especially the current politicians, those who are in government circles, in implementation and policies, enacting of laws, it is not possible that you come in contact with them without you being investigated. They must have to sanitize, make sure that you don't have skeleton in your cupboard, that you don't have any criminal past, not to talk of present, because you can even come close to Washington, D.C. So I want to let you know that our Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere have no question to answer and have no skeleton in his cupboard. And that is why you can see him going to Mar-a-Lago. You can see him going to Washington, D.C. You can see him going to California. Anywhere he wants to go, he can go because his hands are clean. He doesn't have any criminal record. He's not a wanted anything. Not like a Nigerian president and not like all these politicians that have one case or the other to answer. So Biafrans, ignore any propaganda you see on social media against Biafran government in exile and against our honorable Prime Minister, Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere. Meanwhile, in one of the diplomatic engagement that he has, it is what is giving birth to most of these interviews that you see him having. Here is one of them. While I bring photos, fallout from the engagement in Washington, D.C., you compare the pictures that you had, you have seen him, and you know the senators that are working directly in American government at this time, and you yourself that is castigating our Prime Minister and our government, bring your own as well so that we can be able to compare and contrast and know actually who is the propagandist in this aspect. And just enjoy yourself because Biafra is on the move. Nobody is going to stop the restoration of Biafra. Not you, not anybody, not Nigerian government. And you can never, never, ever betray, destroy Biafra government in exile. It's not going to happen. Not now that we are directly speaking with policymakers in Washington, D.C.
Are we live?
Yes.
Greetings to everyone, and you're welcome to Politics Insight on Voice of Biafra Television once again. And with us in the studio today, we have Michael Rubin. And I will leave the stage to the Prime Minister and Michael Rubin to do.
Yeah, before I allow you to listen to that wonderful interview or discussion with one of the best esteemed policy analysts in American history, Dr. Michael Rubin, I want to show you some just can't pay gas, for the enemies of Biafra, can't pay with the do in the show. Our Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere, God bless this man. Chukwu okike abịama gọziere anyị this man, agwara unu na ekere ọrụ eke. There is division of labor. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the person that understands this very, very well, better than any one of you. You feel emotions. Why you are so afraid for yourselves and for others. You forget to understand that Biafra is not a particular person's project. No. Biafra is our collective project. It is everybody's job, everybody's responsibility to bring Biafra. All of us that are Biafra. But a set of individuals have chosen to be enemies of this Biafran restoration. And let me tell you, God chooses those he wants to use for great work ahead. God chose Wazirike for a time like 1999 to 2000. God chose Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from 2012 to 2021. God chose Mazi Simon Ekpanjoko between 2019 to 2024. You see the movement. Not that these people are no longer relevant. No, it's not what I'm saying. But at their particular stages, they made a lot of impact. It's just like when you are playing in the field. You are playing in the field. You have 11 players. Okay? You have defenders, which are the Biafran Defense Forces. You have people who are attackers. And you have people who are the attackers are people like the media, just like we are doing now. We are just being there, creating that awareness, educating our people, letting them understand what the government is doing. Then you have those who are strikers, who are giving us the result that is needed for Biafra. Ogechukwu Nkere is the man that is the striking force that is very late. Because he knows to go into the post, he go post is. There are strikers that are very, very blind. They can't score. Even if they see the goal post, they don't know how to shoot the ball into the net. You remember there is one case in scenario where, I don't know, nation World Cup. No, I think it's African Cup of Nations or qualifier where Yakuba Yegbeni, look at, he's a striker. He played as a striker. And they dribbled and dribbled and dribbled and gave him ball. See Yakuba Yegbeni, see goalkeeper, see post. Yakuba Yegbeni, instead of him to score the goal, everybody have already started celebrating before the ball was shot. Yakuba Yegbeni then turned and shoot the ball over the bar. Only him or one goalkeeper. Nigerians rained curses on him. He is not a good striker. He saw post and refused to shoot the ball inside the net.
Do the finishing. Dr. Mike
Thank you
Rubin,
very much,
welcome to
Minister of Information. It is a great honor to be here today with Dr. Michael Rubin, one of the most respected think tank official and foreign policy leader in Washington, D.C., and a great friend of Biafra and Biafra Republic in exile. He is his biography. Here is more of his biography. Michael Rubin is a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, where he specialized in Iran, Turkey, and the broader Middle East, a former Pentagon official. Dr. Rubin has lived in post-revolution Iran, Yemen, and both pre- and post-war Iraq. He also spent time with the Taliban before 9/11. For a decade, he taught classes at sea about the Horn of Africa and Middle East conflict, culture, and terrorism. To deploy U.S. Navy and Marine units, Dr. Rubin is the author, co-author, and
I'll play the video, don't worry. So when Yakuba Yegbeni missed that goal, everybody carry a hand for head. Oh my God.
author of several books exploring diplomacy, Iranian history, Arab culture, Kurdish studies, and Shiite politics, including several pillars. What really causes instability in the Middle East. AER. Press 2019, Kurdistan's rising, the perils of engaging rogue regimes, Encounter Books 2014, and Internal Iran Continuity and Chaos. Paragraph 2005, Dr. Ruby has a PhD and MA in history from Yale University, where he also obtained a BS in biology. Thank you, Dr. Ruby. The question goes, we have a lot of questions, but because of time, we just take as much as we can. The Biafra Republic government in exile has focused on promoting the U.S. recognition of Christian genocide in Nigeria and hard aggressively for such recognition in parallel with other advocacy such as the U.S. Christian community and organization. This has been successful with President Trump declaring Christian genocide in Nigeria. From our perspective, this allows for normalization or discussion of the concept of an independent Christian state in the form of Biafra. Doctor, what are your thoughts about President Trump and the White House declaration about Christian genocide on Nigeria and steps taken to hold Nigerian government accountable?
Minister, it's a pleasure to be here speaking with you. First of all, I'm glad that President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have calibrated towards reality rather than wishful thinking, like what we saw with the previous administration when Nigeria was taken off the watch list by Secretary of State Antony Blinken. And frankly, the facts on the ground tell the story much more important than any U.S. administration. And so I would hope, Democrat or Republican, whoever follows President Trump, would also continue to recognize the real slaughter of Christians that is occurring in Biafra. The way I look at it is this way. There are two possibilities. Number one, either the Nigerian government is directly and purposely slaughtering the Christians in Biafra. The second possibility is the Nigerian government is too weak to prevent the slaughter of Christians in Biafra. Either way, however, the fact remains that there is an if the Nigerian government is purposely and directly seeking genocide against Biafra, then the United States must recognize Biafra to help protect it. And if the Nigerian government is a failed state and too weak to prevent the actions of the Fulani militias, then the United States should stop recognizing the fiction of Nigeria and recognize the independence of Biafra. In reality, Nigeria is a colonial empire. It's an artificial state, and it's a failed state. The fact of the matter is, it's time to continue the full decolonization of Western Africa. That means allowing Biafra, Ambazonia to be free.
Now, in this interview with Dr. Rubin, to Mike Arnold, and to those who were singing, and to those who are propagandists, and to those who think that they can contribute to every negative comments concerning our government. Like Michael Rubin is Republic of Tunisia. Does it mean that this is the time that they are talking to one another concerning Biafra? Mind you, in 2023 or 2024, in the Biafran declaration, on 2nd of December 2024, Michael Rubin was in LAND.WE, Finland. Remember, Michael Rubin has been speaking about Biafra for a very long time. So when you see him on Biafran platform, when you see him speak with passion that he speaks about Biafra, it is because he has a vast knowledge of Biafran issues. And he has had it one-on-one with our Prime Minister, Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere, and he has been discussing the issues of Biafra. Even in his recent write-up today, I will bring that up concerning Biafra that was written by Michael Rubin. So to Mike and Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere was only going to take pictures in Washington, D.C. He was able to have Rubin and as well Ambassador Tibonaj on our platforms. If this is the first time to them, or that he has never met them before, or they have not discussed anything about Biafra before, he just see them on the sidewalk and took photos and came and posted it on social media. That is the propaganda that one Nigerian is want to hear, and they want to promote it. They want us to, the Biafran government is not doing anything. Ogechukwu Nkere is not doing anything. He's just taking photos in DC. Then we want you to go to Washington and come and tell us what that photo is all about.
Thank you very much, Doctor. What are your thoughts on interconnection between the Nigerian Christian persecution issue and how it ties in with Biafran aspiration?
Well, look, but didn't simply form a few years ago. It's not simply the product of a diaspora community meeting in Finland. The fact of the matter is Biafra has always existed, and we can go back to the 18th century, if not before, and we find evidence of Biafra and recognition of Biafra on European maps and elsewhere. But certainly Biafra showed its desire back in 1967, and unfortunately, for cynical reasons relating to the Cold War, for cynical reasons relating to Nigeria and its economy, we have a situation in which Nigeria was quite literally allowed to get away with murder, allowed to get away with genocide. One of the problems that we see, fail to recognize genocide when it occurs, when we fail to delegitimize the ideology that leads to that genocide, is it ensures a repetition of that genocide. After World War II, the German Nazi Party was stigmatized, and the Germans were forced to come to account with what they did. The problem we have in Nigeria is that too many countries have given Nigeria an excuse not to recognize its own responsibility for the first genocide in Biafra. And because of that, the ideology has continued and it has amplified to the point where we now have the second genocide in Biafra. The moral compromise of people like the president of Finland is shameful. The moral compromise of Anthony Blinken when he was Secretary of State was shameful, especially because he used his own father-in-law's experience in the Holocaust as part of his claim to moral standing when he became Secretary of State. The fact of the matter is, there will not be peace in Nigeria until Biafra is free. And it is unfair for everyone in Biafra to have to suffer through a second Nigerian genocide, a second Biafra genocide at the hands of the Nigerian government, simply because and want to make the other trade deals. The Christians of Nigeria should not be sacrificed so that some Europeans can make a quick contract.
Rubin, telling the world that there can never be peace. Peace can never return in Nigeria. There is nothing like peace until Biafra is fully restored. I want you to understand that before Michael Rubin can talk this way, before he can speak the manner that in the manner that he is speaking, he must have had a lot of proofs on the way forward in that part of the world. And the only way forward is Biafra. He has known, he is a political analyst. These are people who are specialists in analyzing politics all around the world. And he understands that the Biafra Republic meant in exile is in a very big position, in a very better position to galvanize the Biafrans all over the world and educate American government on the need for Biafran to be free. And he understands that the Biafran government in exile is capable of governing the Biafran region. Because one thing is very important. What the Biafran government in exile is doing is not just creating that awareness for American citizens to know the situation that we find ourselves in Nigeria. It is also educating Biafrans as well on the need for them to position themselves. Should the American government now find it very worthy at this particular time to recognize Biafra, then the government in exile will be collapsed. The government in exile is the government that is going to form the transitional government in the homeland. Then the Biafran government in exile will be collapsed. That is when we have a transitional government in the homeland that will now take charge of the Biafran government. So it is not only creating awareness for America, we are also telling them that we are ready and we are capable of governing ourselves should Nigeria be collapsed. Because the fear of the Middle Beltans is that, oh, when Biafra goes, that they are going to find themselves in a very difficult situation and position. But our government have allayed that fears and told them, explained to them that when Biafra is fully restored, that Biafra is going to give them a safe haven. In other words, it is the government of Biafra. It is not about Ogechukwu Nkere. It is about the collective responsibility of everybody that is a Biafran that is going to come together and form this government that is going to be able to protect the indigenous people of Middle Belt or the Christian minorities in the north when the chiefs are down, so that their protection and their security will be of utmost interest to the Biafran government. So now that Michael Rubin is protected, that there can never be peace until Biafra is fully recognized and until Biafra exits Nigeria. It is also telling the American government this is the time that Biafran have a capacity and the capability to rule themselves. He cannot be proud to say this if he has not seen the activities of Biafran Republic government in exile and what they can do. Mind you, he was in Helsinki, Finland in 2023. He was also in Lahti, Finland in the declaration. So he knows, he has followed the progression, the progress of Biafran government in exile, and know what we can do as a people. Forget about the internal wranglings that we have, the disagreements here and there. In fact, that disagreement is bringing the best, bringing out the best in Biafran government in exile, and bringing out the best in each and every one of us. It's just like when a child is walking and is not falling, the child will not know the importance of standing very strong, and standing very firm. Okay? If we don't have turbulences, we wouldn't have sat up, we wouldn't have known our weak points, we wouldn't have known the people who are responsible for the misunderstandings or the propaganda that is happening on social media. So why we have all these internal wranglings, it is fortifying and strengthening the structures as well as the personnel of Biafran government in exile. And that is why we are telling Biafrans who cares to listen, if you are part of this government, I want you to appreciate Chukwu for leading you to the right place. Because believe you me, those who are following Ngozi, they are not convinced. They are not 100% convinced on what they are doing. They have skirmishes, they have doubts, but they cannot come out and say it. They have doubts about who they are following because they understand. I don't think that you can follow me. I'm telling you that I'm bringing freedom to you, and you see that I'm not doing anything. There is nothing that have been done since 2024, and you are not doubting my capacity. No, but most of them are following because, oh, one or two is coming out from that angle. Just like every Saturday, they make donation, and when that donation comes, they share it among themselves, especially among the hierarchy. And there are a lot of people who are following them without. There are a lot of people are following and donating to them without having to ask themselves questions. The reason why they should donate to people who are not making any positive impact in their freedom. It is very, very unfortunate that you can support a cause that you are not seeing the outcome. So most of them they know that they are doing the wrong thing, but because they cannot come and apologize for for their failures, they cannot come to apologize for side and come back and support. That is why ha ga-anwụ ka ndọlịma kama m ga-anwụ ka ndọlịma nwee ike kama m ga-anwụ ka ndọlịma n'ụwa bụ ndọlị ndọlị. That is, they want to remain in of evil as long as they are not standing with Ogechukwu Nkere, as long as they are not sitting with Sonny Akparawa, as long as they are try as much as Khan is doing, maybe that gives them joy. Even they know that BRG is doing the right, they can never appreciate that fact. The same thing happens to the Mazin and the Kano lawyers. The same thing is happening to Igbo elites. The same thing is happening to those who call themselves intelligentsia. Just like Mazi Joseph Okechukwu, JC Okechukwu, he can see, every time he come out and tweet, Nigeria is going to do this, is going to do that. Nigeria is in the precipice of collapse and all the rest of them. America is trying to do this. All these people, they feign ignorance. They close their eyes to what Brigi is doing in Washington, D.C. They pretend they don't see it. They pretend it does not exist, but they see it koro koro. But out of pomposity, I'm not going to answer to him. I must be the one in charge. Why should Ogechukwu Nkere be the one in charge? Why should he be the one I'm following? Why should I listen to him? I went to Cambridge. I went to this. I went to that. I have a PhD in this. I have a doctorate degree in this, and I'm not the one in charge. Why should it be Ogechukwu Nkere? And because of that, I am not going to support. This is their mindset. That is just their mindset. The same Ogechukwu Nkere that they are downplaying what he's doing in Washington, D.C. is the Ogechukwu Nkere that is meeting Ted Cruz. The same Ogechukwu Nkere is meeting, let me show you pictures, man. Diplomatic engagement in Washington, D.C. The same Ogechukwu Nkere that they don't want to listen to him. The same Ogechukwu Nkere. Let me see if they don't want to be on. They don't want. They want to be the one that are the prime minister. The same Ogechukwu Nkere. Look at this. Is the same Ogechukwu Nkere. They don't what? They don't want to, to listen to Ogechukwu Nkere. They don't want they don't want Ogechukwu Nkere to be the prime minister. This is Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere. This Ogechukwu Nkere doesn't have a degree in mathematics, degree in international, and I have this and that. The same Ogechukwu Nkere, whom they are trying to, to belittle effort. Here, the United States House of Mike Johnson, the same Ogechukwu Nkere here, he gave Mike Johnson the Biafran Charter. And for those of you who said that, oh, he's taking pictures, are you going to tell me that Ogechukwu Nkere just came here? He just see Mike Johnson walking around the way. He said, oh, sir, can I take picture with you? Okay, take Biafran Charter. And Mike Johnson will take Biafran Charter from him? Something must be wrong with your brain. Then, this is Ogechukwu Nkere with Senator Ted Cruz. And all of a sudden, Ogechukwu Nkere is walking in Washington, D.C., just going around the corner, and he's sitting at Ted Cruz. And you say, come, let me take a photo with you and shake his breast. The chairman of the House Services Committee. This is not old, though. Current chairman of the Armed Services Committee. So Ogechukwu Nkere will now go to his office and say, sir, let me take picture. And after taking picture, he goes out. It's not possible. This is Ogechukwu Nkere with Amanda Bray, our attorney, and this is Mazi Elias, our lobbyist. The same Ogechukwu Nkere that Joseph Ugochukwu and all their likes, they refuse to support this young man who is actively working every now and then, fighting, trying to make sure that Biafrans are free, educating American congressmen and women on the need for Biafran restoration. This man has his own personal business, but all those things, he left it on the side. And here he is. The reason why we must be exiting Nigeria, because Nigeria is now giving the American government evidence. We no longer give evidence They see evidence themselves on social media. Yeah, you can see him, John James. He just met John James. Say, take Biafran charter on a Z. He did not have any meeting before they have this photo. Is that what you are telling me? This is a friend of met him. And go and meet all these senators. Go and meet with this is see him here with this market analysis. Okay, this is him meeting Ambassador TB Nagy before. I think when he was the under finance minister or acting prime minister. These are some of the political engagements that he had, diplomatic engagement in Washington, D.C. All these photos come with meeting, okay? All these photos that you are seeing here, they come with meetings, okay? All these photos that you see here comes with meeting. These are engagements in Washington, D.C. So when Mike Arnold come and tells you, oh, all these meetings are babash, they don't make sense. You ask Mike Arnold, how many times when he was the mayor of Blanco, Texas, people came to his office and asked him out that they want to take a photo. Ask Mike Arnold, how many times that people came to his office when he was the Blanco mayor of Texas and take him, oh, sir, I want to take photo with you. Come, let's media telling the world that to that it is for the gullible people like us. We are not, because we know what the Prime Minister is doing in Washington, D.C. All for Biafra, nothing else. All for the betterment of Biafran people. So we are appealing to Biafrans to continue to support our Prime Minister, because every photo has a video attached to it. Every photo speaks volume of the engagement in Washington, D.C. Every photo that you see our Prime Minister take speaks volume of his engagement in Washington, D.C. So it is only the ones that will be made public that will be made public. Okay? These photos that you see here, this is Washington, D.C. or White House. These are cabinet men and women of brigade. These are distinguished Biafrans who went to the first ever Biafran congressional briefing, 18th of September 2005. See these young men and women committed freedom. And you think that all these photos, they came together and take photo without having any objective why they came here. You have failed. Who don't know what government, brigade government is doing, all these photos have, we are so proud and to our Prime Minister for doing Biafra proud, because in his own era, in this dispensation, Biafra issue have skyrocketed. The knowledge of Biafra issues is higher than it before now. Important. The same Brian Mars, this Brian Mars, Senate Committee, Arms Services Committee. You see Brian Mars with President Trump here. Here you see him with Prime Minister. So there is a lot of things that is not public and can never be unless unnecessary for it to be made public. So just it. So therefore, it is our responsibility to support this government. It is our responsibility to support our government. Our Prime Minister is doing exceptionally well in Washington, D.C. And is what is giving birth to these robot activities now playing out. Every now and then, our government is actively engaged in issues of Biafra. And each passes day, Nigeria is losing its relevance in the international stage. So don't allow anybody to deceive you. BRGIE is working for our freedom. Nothing anybody can do about it. Very, very important. Having said that, I want you to listen to the interview once again because we have made our point. Let those who have let hear. If you don't hear, sorry, I can't help you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I'm so encouraged with your words, your expertise, and your knowledge. I hope people are listening and learning from the expert and for who care for humanity. Thank you. The Biafra Republic government in exile Brigade heavily invests in time and energy and in high-level engagement in Washington, D.C., while the new Biafra movement has existed since the late 90s. A professional engagement campaign led by Brigade in Washington, D.C. is a very recent phenomenon, being less than 2 years old. Due to this change in strategy, in some ways, we have more success in the past 2 years than the previous 20. We have to relating to this. People who are educating you as official on the Biafra issue is critical.
Well, first of all, what you say is absolutely true. I personally, of course, not Biafran, and so I'm not all Biafran policy. What I would say, however, is that whatever one's
Did you see in I mean to create a kind of battlings between the fallout institution and the Afghan government in exile? No. Mike House said he cannot get involved. If you expect me to talk about your internal issues, no, I can't talk about it. I am going to talk about the issues that affect Africa and that of Biafra, and why you are what Biafra are free as a people. And remember, he said there will be peace unless Biafra is recognized. And he wrote an article to that. I want to bring that article to everybody. Close, because that will be my final article just on the 5th. I think yesterday. Yes, this article There won't be peace in Nigeria unless Biafra. Look at it. There won't be peace in Nigeria unless Biafra, until Biafra is free. Dr. Michael Rubin. We are going to go through it. Look at him here. This picture was taken in Washington, D.C. years back, if not years back. Remember, he was in Helsinki Declaration 2023. He also was in Lahti, Finland, Biafran Declaration 2024. In a friend, an ally of Biafra. So it is Michael Rubin, a senior fellow at the American Institute, at the American Enterprise Institute, and leading Washington policy scholar, foreign policy scholar, delivers a historic landmark address on Voice of Biafra TV, endorsing U.S. recognition of Biafra, condemning Nigeria as a state sponsor of terrorism, and commending Briggs' professional lobby campaign as a model of diaspora advocacy. Hey, nke a tọgbuo m o. Chai, nke a tọgbuo m o. Briggs where Arnold, because Gabande yard, make a call and tell your yard people, let them come. Let them come and listen to the diplomatic engagement in Washington, D.C., what is bringing to the Biafra restoration movement. Go and tell the enemies of Biafra. Go and tell the propagandists. All those people who, they don't want to see Biafra. They don't want Biafran to progress. They don't want Biafra to be free. They don't want Ogechukwu Nkere to succeed. They want GIE to succeed. They want Biafra. These people who can do ndị isi ojii, amaghị m ihe na-eme ndị isi ojii. Maazị Nnamdi Kanu fighting for particular person that you want that Biafra. If you are walking on the road, you have children, and you are going, and maybe you have children, you have a company, you are running it and you get tired. Your children are there. What are they there for? They take it off from you. It's a continuous fight. Biafra, until we get Biafra. Fight. It doesn't mean, why didn't you ask them to resurrect Ojukwu? Since Ojukwu and we should go and tell them, resurrect them, come and start fighting for Biafra for us. Because our hands are tied. Because our legs are bereft of ideas and for Biafra for us. Since Mazi Kanu and Simon Ekpanjoku is in detention, you want them to come out and start fighting for Biafra. You that is free. You don't want to do anything. We are passed through that kind of mindset. We are going to get Biafra. And our Biafran government in exile is doing the needful. Is creating that needed stability of Biafra is a Biafran government in exile. So let us read on Voice of Biafran television interview of Monday, May 4, 2025. The Biafran Republic government in exile Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere hosted Dr. Rubin, senior fellow at the American Institute, Enterprise Institute, and of Washington, D.C.'s most outspoken voice. Washington, D.C.'s most outspoken voices on foreign policy. The interview was a tour de force of intellectual clarity, moral courage, and insight. And that the Biafran people and their supporters around the world will remember as a defining moment in the international campaign for Biafran justice and self-determination. Nigerians Christian genocide was reality sharply with the Biden administration decision to remove Nigeria from the State Department under former Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. But he went further than simply praising the current administration. He presented a logical argument for recognition that he said, to changes. He said, there are two possibilities. Either the Nigerian government is directly and popularly dancing in Biafra, or the Nigerian government is too weak to prevent the slaughter. Either way, the fact remains that there is an ongoing genocide. Then he said, from that premise, Dr. Rubin drew his conclusions with precision. If the Nigerian government is deliberately perpetuating genocide, the United States must recognize and protect them. If, on the other hand, Nigeria is a failed state, incapable of preventing the Fulani militia attacks that are consuming Christian communities across the Middle Belt and Southeast, then the United States should stop recognizing what he called the fiction of Nigeria and instead recognize the independence of Biafra. In either case, he argued, the conclusion is the same. In reality, Nigeria is a colonial empire. It is an artificial state and it is a failed state. It is time to continue the full decolonization of West Africa, and that means allowing Biafra and Ambazonia to be free. Oh my God. This is mind-blowing. This write-up is mind-blowing. That is what you can get from one of the American best policy analysts, Dr. Michael Rubin. So Biafran Republic government in exile is poised towards sure Biafran restoration is a reality. Our government, our Prime Minister, His Honorable Ogechukwu Nkere, is doing what he needs to do to make sure Biafra come now. That is what we are calling on Biafrans anywhere that you are all around the world. Come and join hands. Yeah. So come and join hands, Biafrans. Join hands and support Biafran government in exile. Join hands and support Ogechukwu Nkere, because the man knows what he's doing. He knows what it takes Biafra to be restored. Our Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere knows what it takes for Biafra to be restored, and that is what he is actively engaged in. and actively doing it in Washington, D.C. Very, very important. So whenever you see photos, whenever he gives you photo of what he's doing in Washington, D.C., you should know that a lot is happening. It is a proof. Those photos are proofs of political engagement in Washington, D.C. It is a proof of political engagement in Washington, D.C. Okay? So going forward, I don't know, the write-up is menu. He said, a nation that has always existed history, genocide, and accountability. Dr. Rubin was emphatic that Biafran cause is not a recent invention or a diaspora fantasy. He noted that at least, if not earlier, Biafran people demonstrated their desire for self-determination as long as 1967. The tragedy, he argued, is that the international community chose cynicism over conscience at that pivotal time. And remember, when Ambassador Tibonaj came, he said that Biafra has a distinct culture and Biafrans are distinct people. Okay? Biafra has a distinct culture and we are a distinct people. In other words, there are something that distinguishes us, differentiates us from the evil Nigerian that we find ourselves today. And that is a sad reality, that the Nigerian government, even knowing fully well that, assuming that we were really integrated into the system and seeing that everybody have an opportunity of bringing in their potential for the development of Nigeria, I don't think there is any African nation that will see the back of Nigeria today, courtesy of the Biafran people entrepreneurship. But because of the hatred for us, that is why Nigeria can never succeed. So, he said, for reasons connected to Cold War politics and commercial interest in the Nigerian economy, the world allowed Nigeria to commit what Dr. Rubin described plain genocide against the Biafran people and to escape any accountability for it. The consequences of that failure, he argued out a second time, because the ideology that drove the first Biafran genocide was never stigmatized or dismantled. It has continued and amplified to the point where the Biafran people are now enduring a second genocide. Exactly. Exactly. This is coming from one of American best policy analysts. Very, very important. Please, it is lengthy. Let me show you. Very, very lengthy, and we are not going to read it all here. So I want you to go to my YouTube, to my wall on X, and read it up. Very, very lengthy, very, very educative, informative, straight to the point. Whatever you, Dr. Rubin, write, it is something that the world will make references to in the nearest future. So let me read this. Building coalition. Who should recognize Biafra? Building coalition. Recognize Biafra. Dr. Rubin encouraged Brigi to think broadly about which sovereign state and independent movement is cultivate as allies. He confirmed that his logical partner, given the historical relationship between the two people. He advocated for that. That is one. Dr. Rubin knows. Of course, he's one of the best in analyzing issues of politics. He understands that because of the position of Nigeria in Africa, Nigeria have made it very, very impossible for other African states to even come and back the Biafran quest for freedom. Okay? Then he now advised those who have similar cases with Biafra that the Biafran government should try as much as possible to liaise, to liaise with them and have a kind of cultivate a kind of friendship. He gave instance of Somaliland, Namibia. They are the people that experience what he will experience. He was enthusiastic about Briggy's existing engagement with Ambazonia, the independent movement of the Anglophone regions of Cameroon, arguing that both movements have clear historical identities, clear borders, and a shared national consciousness, forged in the trauma of oppression. The solidarity between Biafra and Ambazonia, he suggested, represent the whole being greater than the sum of its parts. He offered a memorable and striking image of Nigeria's current position in the region and the world, one that encapsulated the of the relationship between Nigeria and is like a desk in the back seat of a car. No one wants to have to rely on it. Biafra is the country of the future. That is where I'm going to end it, my wonderful people. Biafra is the country of the future. My goodness me. This is wonderful from Dr. Michael Rubin, American political analyst. In fact, among the best, not the best political analyst in the history of American politics. This is him speaking about Biafra. Biafra is the country of the future. Exactly. And what Biafra is going to bring, Biafra is going to make sure that every oppressed person, every oppressed nation will be supported. If you are being oppressed, Biafra government will come for your rescue and support, because we have seen it going to be one of the countries, just like Israel is in the Middle East. Biafra is going to be a great ally to America and Israel. And we are going to fight for human rights, rule of law, human and people's rights. It is our responsibility as Biafra, because we have seen it all. We have passed through that road before. We have seen the atrocity of the Nigerian government against us. So when Biafra is fully restored, we are going to be supporting nations who want to be free out of their slave masters. That is why the diplomatic engagement our government is having in Washington, D.C. is moving very, very well. I'm fine. Yes, very well and fine. And the only problem that we have, the problem that is facing us, is Biafrans. Biafrans are the problem that we have. Look at, this is an American analyst, a writer, writing so extensively about the issues that affect the Biafran people, about the issues that we, the Biafran people, are facing. This Michael Rubin, about the issues that Biafrans are facing. But we have Biafrans in diaspora who will do these things that comes under the Jiko. I will tag along Ejimako to that tweet. I will tag along Ejimako. All these people, in fact, all of you watching, please, you are going to do us a favor. Go and share that write-up of Dr. Michael Rubin. When you share it, tag the people that you want to tag. Tag Aloye Jimko. Tag Joseph Okechukwu. Tag every politician in Biafran territory, especially those of them who say they want to be, those of them who say they want Biafra. If you name them, tag them on this write-up of Dr. Michael Rubin. Those who say they don't know where to belong, they don't know what Ogechukwu Nkere is doing, they don't see any positive impact it's making, tag them to this write-up. That is the best thing to do, so that when they see and read it, maybe they'll have a change of heart. Because it's very sad. Our people will see all this positive impact and they refuse to appreciate and comment on it.
Political belief as a Biafran. The most education of people outside Biafra, of people outside Nigeria, to understand the Biafran cause. And there's absolutely no doubt that great progress has been made over the last 2 or 3 years on the issue. Now, there's been 2 issues or two dynamics that have allowed to this success. The first is the lobbying campaign that the Biafran community in exile has undertaken in Washington. You have made people aware. You don't need to spin. You don't need.
I hope you heard that. He said the diaspora Biafran government in exile, what they have undertaken in Washington, D.C. They have made people to be is happening. What Nigeria is doing to Biafran. This is a confirmation. It is another confirmation to you Biafrans who don't believe on BRGI that BRGI is doing enough for your freedom.
Need to get facts. All you need to do is, because unfortunately, the Nigerian government is creating the facts with its own perpetuation of genocide in Biafra. Frankly, however, the Biafran community is also Washington simply because of the embassy. The fact of the matter is not an embassy more related to DC than the Nigerian embassy. Even when I talk to State Department officials who do not necessarily agree with the idea of an independent Biafran state, they will acknowledge that the reason why the Biafran cause has sunk such deep roots now in Washington, D.C., is not only because of the lobbying efforts, but also because the Nigerian government has not managed to contradict or explain any of the community or its own Nigerian actions. So the fact of the matter is, you have had great success. And the reason why this is important is because genocide happens in the dark. When you light on the slaughter of Christians in villages and in Biafra, then their deaths are not, there is accountability. We can look at any number of episodes. Kosovo in 1999 with Bill Clinton, or more recently, the military action in Iran. And we can recognize the importance of understanding how the slaughter of a country's own people led to intervention. And so no one is talking about intervention right now. The fact of the matter is, people are talking about sanctions against Nigeria. And frankly, the Biafran case for independence is going to become even more important as an element of U.S. national security, as a U.S. interest. If the government in Mali falls, then we are going to leave the problem of jihadism, of Al-Qaeda, of Islamic extremism, of the Islamic State in West Africa. And while, of course, Mali and Nigeria do not share a direct border, the fact of the matter is that if Mali becomes a safe haven for Al-Qaeda, Nigeria is going to be its target. And if the Nigerian government is incompetent and as permeated by Islamists, as we've seen over the last several years, then the United States, not for reasons directly of religious freedom, but for reasons of stability and security in West Africa, will have absolutely no reason, no choice, but to recognize the state of Biafra as an independent country.
Wow. Thank you very much. And the Nigerian terrorist government, they always make our job us. The Biafra Republic government has a transaction approving the U.S. government, making a beneficial offer in the areas of defense, security, and natural resources in exchange for U.S. political support, similar to what Somaliland is doing. What are your thoughts on this approach?
Well, look, when it comes to the aspirations of Biafra, just like when it comes to the aspirations of Somaliland, another country which had suffered genocide, in this case at the hand the fact of the matter is, Biafra should make any number of arguments because different policymakers in Washington will be motivated by different ideas. There's not a magic. Personally, the reality of the Biafran cause matters to me. To the evangelical Christian community, solidarity matters. The protection of Christians. But you're absolutely right, Mr. Prime Minister. And Biafra has a lot to offer. And the point is that Biafra needs to do what is in Biafran interests. It needs to have a symbiotic relationship with the United States. And if that means a military base for the strategic Gulf of Guinea, if that means energy deals with American companies, that's fine. The fact of the matter is we should be supporting you for practical, realpolitik reasons. We should be supporting you for morals. We should be all of them go together in a way that is beneficial to both countries.
Thank you very much, Doctor. As a follow-up to the previous question, the Biafran territory would provide the U.S. value to the Gulf of Guinea, which is very, very important. We believe that given increased terrorism in West Africa and the loss of U.S. presence in the Sahel, this idea of having U.S. militaries in Biafra has been spoken about by foreign policy experts in Washington, D.C. What do you think of this idea?
I think it's a very good idea. Realistically, the United States isn't going to establish a military base before much more formal recognition of Biafran autonomy, if not independent. I would add to the litany of reasons this is important, that the Gulf of Guinea is now the international hub of piracy. And therefore, it becomes extremely important to the freedom of navigation, to the energy flow. Now, technically speaking, when it comes to maritime law, piracy is an act that occurs 12 miles outside of a country's borders, once it's outside on the high seas, outside of its territorial waters. What Nigeria has done is categorize many of the acts of piracy as occurring inside its territorial waters. It's the statistics. Nigeria is dishonest. It's become a major source of instability in the region. And at the same time, Biafra has the resources which Nigeria wants to loot. The dynamic defeat, and in a way, it's a dynamic extortion. And support, but it's never, because it wants the billion American security assistance. What the Nigerian government wants to do is similar. It wants to, on one hand, promote and catalyze the Fulani militias and other Islamist extremists in the Middle Belt, in the North, and in Biafra. And it will say, you need to give us millions.
What is happening? Someone speaking about Biafra. The platform of the Biafran government, Voice of Biafra, radio and television. It was very much impactful and educative. If you have not insight, go and listen to it now. Go and listen to it. You're going to gain a lot. A lot is happening. A lot is happening in Biafran government in exile. The Biafran government is doing more than enough. Our Prime Minister is always in Washington, D.C., making sure that the issue of Biafra is discussed, making sure that anything that had to do with Biafra, American congressmen and women are aware of it. Time have passed when somebody will now tell you, oh, that Ogechukwu Nkere is not doing anything. The lobby in Washington positive is yielding a lot of, and a lot of impact is created in Biafran issues. A lot of impact is being made issues. So, my Biafran brothers and sisters, your support. You need to supplement is doing for our freedom. Very, very important. Our government is working assiduously. Our government is making sure that the issues of Biafra is being discussed in Washington, D.C. It's being discussed in Washington, D.C. So that you are supporting this government, which is actively involved in the restoration of Biafra. Very, very important. So, my wonderful Biafran brothers and sisters, visit our website today, www.biafranrepublic.org, and make your donation to this government. Is the government of the people. This government is the only government that is recognized in Washington, D.C. It's fighting for your freedom. There is no other government whatsoever. So don't allow anybody to deceive you. Don't give your money to any beggar. People that are using your money for businesses, Imam Madabu, and Ngozi, or Abu Fulani, don't give your money to these people. They are feeding fat on your money. They are feeding fat on your sweat. Why the people that are working, the Afghan Republic government in exile, is soliciting for your support to make sure that these diplomatic efforts that you see that is happening in Washington, D.C. will continue to go higher and higher. And American government is being educated. Is being educated more. It is happening in Biafra. Nigerian government is no longer, having it. It's no longer, being recognized in Washington, D.C. No. American government understand that the Christian genocide that you see happening in Nigeria is as a result of Nigerian government lackluster attitude, inaction against the death of Christians. Nigerian government is the sole funder. Nigerian government is financing the terrorism against the people. So there is no way they can carry action against the same people that they are supporting. That is why they are not taking any action against these terrorists and against terrorism. So American government understand that Nigeria is complicit in the crimes against Biafrans. So they are now looking up to you, Biafrans, to rise up and take your freedom. The freedom is in our hands. Our freedom is in our hands, my wonderful Biafran brothers and sisters. Our freedom is in our hands. Nobody is going to give us freedom. Nobody us. We need to free ourselves. We need to free ourselves out of Nigeria. That is just the issue.
Billions of dollars for our military in order to defeat this threat. But it's like the arsonists saying you need to give us millions of dollars, billions of dollars to put out a wildfire. Without admitting that they did it. So what the United States needs to do, military base or not, is to call the bluff, the cynicism of Abuja. It needs to tell the Nigerians, we know what your game plan is, and we reject it. And the fact of the matter is, you have become a terrorist sponsor. You should be designated a state sponsor of terrorism. And we have concluded that the only way to protect the security and stability, as well as the Christian community, is to recognize Biafra.
We heard that the only way to protect the communities. I want you to think to it again. The security of the world. The only way to protect the security of this world is to make sure that we recognize Biafra.
The Fulani militias and other Islamist extremists in the Middle Belt, in the north, and in Biafra.
I'm so sorry about the glitches. It's some of those things that I undergo whenever I'm live, and it's as the laptop is old. Laptop is old. To Biafrans, I need a new laptop. You know, the government is very rich. Things that they are, but I will not be experiencing all the glitches. It is not a network. In some cases, this is a laptop that I'm using. Like this. I'm here, you know. Will go the laptop. I'm just managing it and managing it and managing it because I don't have another one. So please, I need your support on this. You can send one for me through DHL. I will appreciate that. So thank you so much.
And it will say, you need to give us millions, billions of dollars for our military in order to defeat this threat. But it's like the arsonists saying you need to give us millions of dollars, billions of dollars to put out a wildfire without admitting that they themselves started it. So what the United States needs to do, military base or not, it needs, we know what your game plan is, and we reject it. And you should be designated state sponsor of terrorism. We have concluded that the only way to protect the security and stability, as well as the Christian community, is to recognize Biafra.
I want you to listen to it.
Thank you very much.
Wants to loot. The dynamic which the United States has to be very careful about is this. We've seen, for example, in both Pakistan and to a lesser extent Egypt, governments demanding that the United States assist them with defeating extremists. And in a way, it's a dynamic of extortion. Pakistan supports the Taliban into the security, to the freedom of navigation, to the energy flow. Now, technically speaking, when it comes to maritime law, piracy is an act that occurs 12 miles outside of a country's borders, once it's outside on the high seas, outside of its territorial waters. What Nigeria has done is categorize many of the acts of piracy as occurring inside its territorial waters in order to depress the statistics. But the fact of the matter is, Nigeria, number one, is dishonest with regard to its security. It's become a major source of instability in the region. Biafra has the resources which Nigeria wants to loot. The dynamic United States has to be very. We've seen, for example, in both Pakistan and to a lesser extent Egypt, government spending, and in a way, it's a dynamic of extortion. Pakistan supports the Taliban, for example, and then demands that the United States gives it security assistance to defeat the Taliban. But it's never going to defeat the Taliban because it wants the billions of dollars in American security assistance. What the Nigerian government wants to do is similar. It wants to, on one hand, promote and catalyze the Fulani militias and other Islamist extremists in the Middle Belt, in the North, and in Biafra. And it will say, you need to give us billions of dollars for our military in order to defeat this threat. But it's like the arsonists saying, you need to give us millions of dollars to put out wildfire without admitting they themselves started it. So what the United States needs to do, military base or not, is to call the bluff, the cynicism. It needs to gain, and the fact of the matter is, you have become a terror sponsor. You should be designated a state terrorism, and we have concluded that the only way to protect the security and stability, as well as the Christian community, is to recognize Biafra.
Thank you.
The only way to protect the indigenous communities is to recognize Biafra. The only pathway of peace is to recognize Biafra. The only way to implementation of democracy is to recognize Biafra. The only way that people can attain your potential is to recognize Biafra. The only way to dislodge the terrorists is to recognize Biafra. So Biafran recognition has a lot of positive impact in the lives of every Nigerian as well as Biafrans. So it is the responsibility. Everybody should now start fighting to make sure that Biafra is recognized, because once Biafra is recognized, your problems are over. Join me on the studio if you want to make a contribution to this, because Dr. Ruben have dealt
Thank you
extensively
very much, Doctor.
to this
For
particular.
years, the Nigerian government has used terrorism in the country as an excuse to ask for arms sale to Nigeria. Instead of instead of using the weapon to fight Boko Haram, either the Nigerian government will use the weapon to engage in military action against the Biafrans, or provide those weapons to so-called reintegrated terrorists. Now, there is a shift towards direct U.S. counter-terrorism in Nigeria. Parting concerned about intention. What are your thoughts regarding arms sales to Nigeria? Should they be blocked, or at least conditions attack that U.S. arm cannot be used against the Biafrans and Christian population?
Well, look, at a minimum, they need to be conditioned. The fact of the matter is, however, that the Nigerian government probably wouldn't adhere to those conditions. When push comes to shove, the Nigerian actions and the Nigerian has been shown not to be a reliable security force.
One thing that is important when you listen to Michael Rubin, and even when you listen to Ambassador T.B. Naji, you will know that all these people know what is happening in Nigeria. All these people know what Nigerian government is doing. Even what their military, the extrajudicial killing, the forced disappearances, the incessant arrest, the intimidations and harassment that people goes through in Nigeria on a daily basis. These American policymakers, they know, they see it, they understand that. So they keep it in their act. They revisit all those atrocities. So this is as a result of Nigerian government not doing enough to stop the atrocity that is happening in Nigeria. They also know that Nigerian government is complicit, even outside the one that is being said by Nigerians. Oh, Danjuma said this, Danjuma said that. For this, that Nigerian government cannot prosecute Boko Haram. Nigerian government prosecute Boko Haram. Nigerian government cannot Boko Haram. That only is a proof against the Nigerian government. So all of them know. They know what is happening in Nigeria. But the thing is that they are not the ones who are going to take action against the Nigerian government, American government. It is the American government. And you remember, the reason why actions are not forthcoming, like people expected America to take action immediately, is because Nigerian government is also actively not to take action against them. Nigerians spent over $9 million to lobby this so that they cannot be held accountable. Okay? So what these lobbyists are doing in Washington, D.C. for Nigeria is to try as much as possible to lobby the people that should speak, the people that should act, the people that should hold them accountable. They go and lobby it. The way they lobby. Now, if you are going for re-election, take for instance, if an American senator is going for re-election and he's a senator or a rep or man, Nigerian government through that firm will go and support the campaign of that senator. Okay? Once that senator gets that support, it becomes very difficult for that senator to now come out and speak so ill or harshly against Nigeria because of that. You see, that is why politicking is very, very sensitive in Washington, D.C. Okay? You must know who and who you are going to lobby. At least there are some senators who are disciplined. Okay? Irrespective of the fact that you lobby them, it will not stop them from telling you to your face the atrocity that your government is committing. Because the government is not about one person. The government is about the whole country. And the government is the people that are in charge of the governments. The governance. Take for instance, Tinubu, president of Nigeria. But it is not only taking action. Tinubu that is, take ability. What about the chief of the? All these people have their various areas going to take responsibility. So if somebody comes to lobby America not to speak about defense, what about the government policy? Okay? What about the atrocity that is being committed under NDC or under custom and not the rest of them? So person that can lobby the American government against anything that has to do with tarnishing the image of Nigeria is the government of Nigeria itself. And they can only do that through proxies, like they are using lobbyists in America to try to ensure that American senators do not speak Nigerian government account. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that irrespective of that, government is doing every manly possible to make sure that the atrocity that they are committing, sorry, so irrespective of the fact that American government Nigeria into account, the Nigerian government try as much as to buy their sense, to bribe people to a lobby. And people, no matter how much you lobby them, always people, they will always stand with the right. Like Michael Rubin, don't tell me that Nigerian government have not silenced him. But he is a political analyst. You cannot go and bribe him because he will definitely expose you. So that is it. So these people knows what to do. They know how to hold Nigerian government into account, and they are documenting evidences of that. And that is why when you look at it up, you can see how he's statically, because he is free to a lot of questions, which is in public glare as we speak. So there is no hiding place for Nigerian government. The only solution is Biafra. And that is why appealing to Biafrans in diaspora in the homeland. This is our time to be free out of Nigeria. Nigeria is now giving the world. Nigeria is now giving the world evidences against themselves. And it is now that everybody should join hands with Biafran government in exile and pump Nigeria until Nigeria no more. Just like Rubin is destroying Nigeria here, we will continue to share this broadcast. Everybody. Thank everybody who is not been supporting this government for them to see how far BRGIE has gone.
What I would do is challenge the Nigerian government. I would demand that any weapon sales be preconditioned the trial and the conviction of any Nigerian officer, any Nigerian soldier who has participated in human rights violations against the people of Biafra. And if the Nigerian government isn't serious enough about rooting out the corruption and the terrorism within its own armed forces, then under no circumstances should they get a single weapon or salary assistance to their military. Because it's clear that they're insincere and they're playing a double game.
The military force, the Biafra Defense Force, Biafra Liberation, could have been helped the U.S. in the Middle East. Should the U.S. military train nationalize the Biafran force into a professional counter-terrorism force? I propose this to U.S. government for consideration.
I would say that that is a good aspiration for the future. Realistically, until the United States recognizes the autonomy of Biafra, it's unlikely that you're going to get Kurdistan in Somaliland. But you're absolutely right. Biafra should have the ability to defend itself to the best of its ability, especially if its neighbor cannot be trusted and indeed is the main threat to its security.
Thank you very much, Doctor. The government of Nigeria has relationship with U.S. Islamic Republic of Iran. In fact, Nigeria at one point brought Iranian officials into the parts of Biafra which remained under government control last year. Nigeria is also trying to bring a Turkish military presence into the country. This is unacceptable to the Biafra Republic government in exile. We are eager to work with the U.S. to counter this malign influence. Should the U.S. also view supporting Biafra as combating malign foreign influences, such as from Iran?
Yes, although, frankly, I see Turkey as a much greater threat right now. Turkey entered, for example, Somalia with the argument that it was going to bring peace and security to Somalia. But what Turkey did was empower al-Shabaab to the point where you cannot even go from the Turkish-controlled green zone at Mogadishu's international airport to the Villa Somalia, just a couple kilometers away, because al-Shabaab controls the territory in between. If Turkish forces, if Turkish advisors enter Nigeria, they are not going to bring peace and security. They are going to empower Boko Haram. Their weaponry is going to end up with Boko Haram, and they are going to catalyze the slaughter of the Christians in Biafra. If Turkey cannot even acknowledge the Armenian genocide, how can you trust them with the lives of the Christians in Biafra?
Thank you very much, Doctor. And I believe that every finger is pointed to Nigerian government or as a regime, as Iranian regime. So Nigeria is Iranian part 2. So they share the same ideology. So or supporting the Nigerian military is actually supporting terrorism against the Biafran Christians and even the Nigerian Christians. Thank you very much. In addition to the United States, which sovereign state do you think Biafra should cultivate relationship with? For example, Biafra has a historical relationship with Israel. and Israel is currently a natural ally for us?
Look, ultimately, who recognizes Biafra and who Biafra recognizes is an issue of strategy. Certainly, Israel makes sense, but look, I mean, the fact of the matter is, African countries should support the Biafran cause as well, because Nigeria is simply a colonial empire under the guise of being an independent African state. The fact of the matter is, the way Nigeria has acted disqualifies it from the full recognition of the African Union and all of the member states. If I were Biafran, I would look at other states in the region that was a victim of genocide. The genocide. One might look at countries that have had differences between sectarian communities, like the Central African republics. And who knows, maybe in the future, big heavyweights in the region, like Ethiopia or South Africa, will understand that future and their interest lies with the creation of Biafra rather than tying themselves to a country like Nigeria. The way I think about Nigeria is this: it's almost as if someone breaks into a fancy automobile and instead of stealing the sound system on the automobile, takes the dead carcass of a cat from the back seat. Nigeria today is like that dead carcass of a cat, and no one wants to have to down it. I mean, Biafra is the country of the future.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Are there other independence movement or non-state actors you think Biafra should have a relationship with? We have contact with the Ambazonia. Somaliland is being pointed out as a successful example.
Well, I mean, certainly Somaliland is successful. And the reason Somaliland is successful is, like Biafra, it has a clear history and clear borders. And it also has a national unity that is born from the trauma of the initial genocide. And Ambazonia makes sense as well, simply because, look, Amazonia should be independent. Cameroon had its opportunity, and it failed compact, much like Mogadishu, Somalia, failed to uphold its contract. And when you fail to uphold your contract, the contract is violated, and then you can go in the other direction. So when it comes to Amazonia, I mean, absolutely, they have every right to be independent, and frankly, they're natural Biafras and vice versa, and it makes sense if both countries support each other as they struggle for independence. I mean, it's the English expression: the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And I know your time is limited. I wish we can have you all day here, because your words, is whoever don't learn from what you're saying, and especially your experience on this very particular field, you're actually saying everything with facts, and that's exactly what is happening. Because in the world we live today, people are shy away from speaking the truth, saying the way it is. Thank you, Doctor. Biafrans and people around the world are closely monitoring the war in Iran. You have written extensively about the Iranian democratic opposition, including Reza Pahlavi. What lesson do you think the Biafrans can learn from the successes and missteps of the Iranian opposition, both of which you have wrote about.
Okay, it's my own office. How do you start? Number one is I believe that Reza Pahlavi, or
It will just misbehave on its own. Please just support me so that I can change this laptop. Support me so that
AIDS became a little comfortable in exile. And I've compared them to the White Russians from the time of the Bolshevik Revolution. Where many of the exiles would talk about revolution, talk about returning, but really they wanted to attend the cocktail parties and the social scene in European capitals. I don't see the same mistake occur. With the Biafrans. I see the Biafrans as much more willing to fight for their
so sorry for the glitches. I'm so sorry about that. And
own country. And we see that because
we are getting there.
So many Biafrans
I want us to play it to
fighting.
the end. Although you are not enjoying it at this time, please make sure you go and rewatch it again. Check on the video and the interview and rewatch. Very, very
not
important.
Just with words, not just with television cameras, but also fighting for their own survival. And so ultimately I see a within the Biafran diaspora. The only way I would have again is the only message which the American should hear, which the European should hear, is about justness, the Biafran cause. If there are disputes politically within the Biafran diaspora, those should be handled internally. And ultimately, those will be decided when there is a referendum or elections in an independent Biafran. But it's not the job of any Biafran to complain about any other Biafran official. And one of the reasons that I believe that the Biafran movement has been successful so far, again, is because the Biafrans are keeping their focus on the broader principles. Too many people among Reza Pahlavi in Iran have started attacking other opposers without understanding that the only adversary which they should be targeting is the Islamic Republic of Iran and its murderous regime. And so in this, I commend the wisdom of the Biafran diaspora for recognizing that the principle has to come above the politics.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I know we have thrown a lot of questions on you. In conclusion, do you have a final message to Biafran people? And Biafran people love you so much. You have been in their midst several times, and they appreciate you being on VOB on Politics Insight today. What is a final message you have for Biafran people? Thank you.
Look, my final message is this. Every dictator wakes up, every Democrat wakes up knowing when his term in office is going to end. Every dictator wakes up knowing that today will be his last. Over the years, I've had the ability to interview people. Lech Walesa, Poland, people in Iraq after the fall of Saddam Hussein, and others. And what they say is, we fought and we fought and we fought. And sometimes it seemed hopeless. But then when the change happened, it happened much faster than anyone expected it would. And I suspect the same thing is going to happen with regard to Nigeria and the collapse of Nigeria. It may seem far off, and diplomats, American diplomats, European diplomats, may seem to almost with tunnel vision just support the status quo. But as Nigeria collapses, it will be amazing how quickly things change. And so it behooves the Biafran community not only to advocate, but to play so the Republic of Biafra is instantly recognized. It can start its operation right away. Its ministries, its economic philosophy, its legal code will all be prepared so that Biafra and the Republic of Biafra will be successful. And in that, I have no doubt that you will. The human capital, the intelligence, the lived experience of the Biafrans put them in a category much closer to Somaliland than to a country like South almost as soon as it began. And so I commend everything the Biafran community is doing in order to preserve its national rights and in order to protect the livelihood of the Christians who are now undergoing an ongoing tragedy.
Thank you very much, Michael, Senior Fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. We really appreciate you, and we are honored to have you in VOB. I know this what we went through before the interview. We have some difficulty at the time, and we appreciate your patience. We love you very, very much. Keep doing the good work to save the minority. So Christians have been persecuted, even non-Christians. God will reward you. Humanity love you. On behalf of the people, I'm saying a very big and the global community that know what was important. And we have heard all you said, and we believe that those viewers that are listening and U.S. government, they know the right thing to do, because Iran of Africa is Nigeria. And if Nigeria is not disintegrated after taking down the terrorists over the Sahel without on the Middle East, without dealing with Nigeria terrorists, because Nigeria have been safe haven for the terrorists. Even they have Hezbollah in Nigeria, over 22 terrorist groups. So after Iran, we believe Nigeria should be next, and Biafran people should be free, and every minority in that region deserves to also get their freedom. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And I also want to let Biafrans know that Marco here, Michael Rubin here, acknowledged the success of our Republic government in Washington, of which we have been spreading the gospel, educating U.S. officials, because some Biafrans are not aware of this. And thank God that you yourself, you acknowledge it, that the work of our lobby, taking us to Washington, D.C. is paying off. Thank you very much, Marco. Honorable Minister of Information, please before let Marco go, Ruby go, we have, we run out of time already. So just go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Michael Rubin, and we appreciate you so much. The Biafran people love you from the bottom of our heart. But there is something that is bothering us, the Biafran people. How is it possible that you predict the future?
Well, we
On
don't
politics.
predict the future. You need to work for the future. And that's what gives me such hope when I see the Biafrans work to that common goal.
Wow, thank you very much. In 2025, you said after Mali is the next. And today what you said has come to pass. That is why I asked the first question. How do you do it? The same way you had written and predicted about Iraq, Iran, and many other countries and many other nations, most especially every conquest agenda team that has to come to Islamize the entire nation. You're always on it. Michael, what is the secret of how you go about getting these facts aligned that they come to pass the right way?
There is no secret. Look, I'm not a diplomat. I put diplomacy aside. Foreign policy needs to be based on reality and not wishful thinking. And when it comes to, and certainly not greed and commercial contracts. So when it comes to Alexander Stubb, it's clear that he's motivated by commercial contracts. When it comes to Anthony Blinken, there was too much wishful thinking. All one needs to do is look at what's happening on the ground in a country like Mali or in a country like Nigeria, and then that's the only thing which you should base your analysis on, even if it makes people, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it makes officials in Abuja uncomfortable. You only need to work in the realm of reality, and that's what I try to do.
Thank you, Michael. I did ask one very important question to our previous guest, and I'll also throw it to you. Is it advisable to reintegrate Haram terrorists or Islamic jihadist terrorists into the military formation, because this is what Nigerian government are doing?
No, it's not wise. It would be self-defeating, and ultimately it would be laundering terrorists. Those who are in Boko Haram should be held accountable for any violence which they perpetrated, and those who were kidnapped into Boko Haram or who may not have been directly involved in violence should be rehabilitated, but not under arms in the military. And countries like Rwanda and countries like Morocco both have experience in how to accomplish this. The one thing one should not do is put them in the military when they have been indoctrinated into the ideology and into the extremism of Boko Haram.
Thank you, Michael. I leave it there because of time. So happy to have had you on the show. Prime Minister.
Yes, Mike, really appreciate it. And in near future, we have you on. You might have more time because and your insight, your knowledge is encouraged.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of. I appreciate every one of you because share, and I want to appeal to you. If you have not, if you have not subscribed to my channel, try as much as possible to do that. Try as much as possible to do that. I will so much appreciate you. Okay, and please, if you are not supporting Biafran government in exile, please start now to support. If you have not been supporting, start now to support. Very, very important. And not only supporting, you support the Biafran government in exile that you know is actively involved in Biafran restoration. At least you have listened. You have listened to Dr. Michael Rubin, and I hope you are impressed with what Biafran government is doing. Okay? I hope you are. Go to website. Go to Republic Government in Exile website www.biafranrepublicgovernment.org and support. Pinch your support with our government, the government that is doing exceptionally well. Very, very important. Our Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere is working assiduously for our freedom. Okay? He's working for our freedom, working for my freedom. And we must do everything to support him. Support so that the defense forces can continue. Support so that the who actively involved in this different project, okay, have a wonderful so much. Continue to
We live?
support our government.
Yes.
Continue to support our freedom. Biafra is our destination. And Biafra we must get. Okay? Biafra, everybody, every one of us should fight. So Biafra is restored. So that we can go back home and develop our land. So that we can go back home and develop our land. So that we can develop a better working condition, a better nation for our people. Very, very important. Outside that, we are doomed. Outside that, if we don't get Biafra, we are doomed as a people. And this is the time we have the greatest opportunity now to get Biafra more than before. The great opportunity we have is now to get Biafra. So, and support. Very, very important. Nigerian government are doing everything. Nigerian government are doing everything to destroy us. But we will try as much as possible to prevent that destruction from happening. And the only way we can do that is for us to be free as a people. Having said that, I appreciate every one of you. I remind you once again, Biafrans, don't allow anybody to deceive you. Don't allow anybody to be using your brain. Biafra is visible. Biafra is possible. And BRGIE, Biafran Republic Government in Exile, under Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere, is doing the best that he can to make sure that we are free as a people. So thank you for listening. I appreciate every one of you. Please support my page, subscribe to my page, and as well, my plea is that support me with a good laptop. This one is giving me headache. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. And goodbye from here. Ụmụ Chineke. Ndewonu, 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 and bye.